Hello, welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. Time to review Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It's been out for over a week, so I'm going to keep the first part of this spoiler-free as best I can, and I will be getting into spoilers later on down the line. But I'll try to let you know before that happens, so if you don't want any spoilers from the movie, you can just skip that part. Overall impressions. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. If I got a chance to see it again in the theater, I absolutely will. It's one of those movies I'll probably own when it becomes available to own, in as much we can own movies anymore. It was an apology, a very delayed apology for the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, even with some callbacks to that film, so that you know that they're aware of it. I had a couple of issues with the writing. There were a couple of much overused tropes that were used to drive the plot, and I did not enjoy that aspect of it. But in every other way, when I go to see a film, one of the things that I'm looking for, especially a movie like this, an action adventure movie, are those people behaving the way I would if I was sitting at a table and rolling dice over this action? Is this the way I would play those characters? Is this the way I would run this scenario if it were a role-playing game? And they scored yes on both of those in this movie, which for Dungeons and Dragons movie, pretty high mark to hit. They knew the game. They referenced the game. They referenced a lot of Forgotten Realms lore, and they did it well. Every time I thought they were just name dropping a place, they would go there, and the place would be map accurate. The characters are good, aside from a couple of the tropey problems with motivation. I liked all the characters. Characters were represented. They formed a good cohesive group. They showed the characters operating as a group and not as three people watching the hero do their stuff. Now, this was quite the opposite. It was a really good writing of the group dynamic. And one thing that really came through is it felt like there were dice rolls involved in the action. Not everything succeeded, and there were a lot of coping with things having not succeeded, and the way that I would do it at the table, on both sides of the table. So, costuming, great. Really enjoy the costuming. The sets were fecking amazing. The acting was tremendous. Great prop work. The overall, the story was fairly basic, but very effective. They got a lot of stuff through that they needed to. It made the points it had to, and had the writing that the good parts of the writing carried all the way through. So overall, in general, I really enjoyed Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I would recommend you go see it. A far better Dungeons and Dragons movie than the first D&D movie, and I would say it was a good movie, which is not a hard mark to hit with me. I do like some things for their shoddy quality, not this. This is actually a high-quality product I do like. It's a good Dungeons and Dragons movie, which I never thought we could actually get, but they cared. They cared enough to do it right, and they did it right. So overall, in general, baseline, thumbs up, good film. From this point, there will be spoilers. Movie's been out for over a week. If you watch past this point, you have been warned that spoilers exist. This isn't really a spoiler, but it's a good visual mark of stuff changing here. This was expensive. For a box of popcorn, this was quite expensive. If you consider, I got this free with a very expensive order of popcorn. A little different. It's $35. I saw the movie at an AMC. This is how they were selling their popcorn. They put the popcorn on the side. They knew that this was going to be the home for these at some point in time, so they gave it to me clean. It's well constructed, good, durable, solid plastic, and yeah, this is going to house a number of my dice, probably my special ones. That is a good piece, and is not as cheap or flimsy as I thought something like this might be. This is the theater promotional item. It's a good one. It's a good one. So, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I'm going to open with the... And I've spoken in glowing praises about the movie in general terms, so I have spoken about some of the good. I'm going to open with some of the bad here in the spoiler territory. I'm going to start with those writing tropes. Two of them. They managed to squeeze two of these things in there. One of them is egregious. Two of them is almost unforgivable in writing. The rest of the movie kind of redeems it from this. Women in fridges. If you're not aware of this trope or why it's called that, there's a long-standing tradition, particularly in comic books, of motivating the hero, the male hero, by endangering, injuring, or killing his significant other. Most often a woman, hence women. The trope name comes from the beginning of Kyle Rayner's run as Green Lantern, when Major Force discovers his secret identity, follows him home, kills his girlfriend, and dismembers her, and stuffs her body in the fridge for Kyle to find. This trope reduces the significant other of the hero in this case to the motivation that they might have had many sterling qualities. We will never know it because they were killed and stuffed in a fridge. The hero's wife is killed early on in this film, and that's their motivation in a flashback, and that's basically the character's motivation. That and the other trope, Lost Lenore from the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Raven. The concept of you have to pursue this ideal of recapturing this lost love of yours, which is just because there's magic involved, and there's this the tablet of resurrection, of awakening that they're pursuing so that he can bring his dead wife back. And there was some lip service to that being, well, he's trying to restore his child's mother, his child who was a baby at the time. And his daughter was an infant when her mother was killed, and has been raised by someone else entirely, the hero's companion, one of the other heroes, as it turns out. Best way to put that. And yeah, until the hero admits, yeah, I'm not trying to bring back your mother. I'm trying to bring back your wife. And it's like, yeah, we knew. It's hackneyed. It's old. It's lazy. It is. It takes a character off the board who could otherwise be someone who could enrich and deepen the story. It's that whole, why are so many mothers dead in Disney? You have the son, and the father is trying to raise him his best because the mother just fucking died, and maternal mortality rate, let's call it, it's a little bit high in movies for me, and it's one less character for us to deal with, and that motivates the male, and no, I don't like it much. Don't like that much. There are other characters who have their own motivations, who need to be wheedled and cajoled and offered wealth and riches. And yeah, it's an adventuring party. That works. Chris Pine's character is a bard. I do not remember the character names very well. They were less important to me than their roles. I could give you their character sheets. I know they released character sheets for them through Beyond, I believe, and I don't need those. I could see them on the screen. I could tell you what their character sheets look like. You recognize race, class, some of the feats, their levels, some of the abilities they've got or should have had. Chris Pine played a bard, which was amazing because he had to shoulder most of the narrative and the exposition, and he did it really well. And the bard stuff that he did was really well done. And you saw the power of music and the power of communication and the things that a bard does. And, you know, if you only strip away all of their ability to use magic or any of their combat prowess, which his character showed very little of, if any. Okay, they needed him to be the wubby, and he was. They nerfed the bard, which he was the wubby. He was the butt monkey. He was the character who could constantly fail and get back up, so that the supporting characters all looked better in comparison. And again, a reaction from the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, where there's a bunch of people sitting around watching the main character, which there should not be one in a D&D movie. They handled that much better. All the characters got spotlight. All the characters got their crowning moment of awesome. So that was really well done. Your barbarian was a barbarian. Oh my God, she was amazing. And the bits they threw in about extra character, your sorcerer was a perfectly decent sorcerer. And they dealt with some of the metaphysics of attunement, and they did it well, I thought. I thought that was really well done. Your druid, there was one rules problem that they have corrected the rules in the books to cover what was done in the movies, because why can't a druid turn into an owlbear? Yeah, it's not a natural creature, but they've been around for so long that and integrated into so many ecosystems that at this point in time, sure, why not? It looked good, and it's awesome to do in game. I'd let you turn into an owlbear if you were a druid and wild shaping a game. And the character interaction, I've seen that interaction at my tables. The turncoat character, the rogue from their first outing, and Hugh Grant. How you gonna not love Hugh Grant as a fast-talking silver-tongued villain? Perfect. They couldn't have cast that better. Everything that you hoped you'd see. There were displacer beasts, and they handled displacer beasts really well. They were properly terrifying. Gelatinous cubes handled really well, and used in interesting ways that, a smart party, maybe they could have figured that out. It was, and okay, there's a cameo. There's a cameo in this movie. Cameo NPC. Someone I have interfaced with in game as a player, and someone who, if you're going to the Underdark, you might just run into them. They met Thembershad the Dragon. With lair action, I've been through the Underdark. I forget the Up from the Abyss, I believe, is the or Out of the Underdark. I forget the name of the adventure. Nick ran us through that. That's our the core of our Mercen and Fire series, and we met Thembershad, and yeah, big pudgy red dragon, really pissed off about stuff, and yeah, they on the screen, big as life, fighting not like a dragon disadvantaged by his weight, but by like a dragon who has learned to use his girth to his advantage, and it was amazing. I hope to run a fight that good someday, and seeing as how I am a big fan of a lot of the fights that I've run, that's high praise. They did it really well. You could put out a tabletop, a map of the areas that they fought in, and they do very well. Overall, aside from a couple of, I wish I didn't have the caveat, and I don't know, it would have been a different movie if they'd have used different plot devices, but for feck's sake, people, just write a new story every so often. Wouldn't have killed them to have worked a little bit harder on that bit. Aside from that, what we got was really good. Really good. Again, I'll see it again and try to own it when it becomes available. All the way through. It's a big blockbustery movie with a big blockbustery cast, with big blockbustery action that actually pulls it off. I haven't enjoyed a movie like that in a very long time, which is good because movies are expensive, even if you don't burn damn near $40 on a popcorn box. And this was an absolute worthy expenditure of the funds. It was a good time. It was a good time that filled my gamer soul with glee because they did gamer stuff in gamer ways, and the universe rewarded them in a gamer-like fashion. And yeah, high praise for Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Get better writing tropes, and looking forward to see if they do send something else with the property, because it's worth it. It was worth the time and effort, and darn fine movie. Well, thank you very much for following me through this particular review. And if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If there is anything else you'd like to hear me talk about, other movies you'd like me to review, maybe subjects you'd like to hear me cover, please leave me a comment down below. I will love getting your comment. You'll love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. Please hit the subscribe button. If you do, you might also want to hit the little notification bell so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you would like to contribute to the channel in a more substantial manner, I invite you to hit me up my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum. Consider donating. Absolutely anything helps, allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. I'll see you next time with the next Matters of DeCorum.